Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to Drums and Drams. My name is Cameron, and today we have another episode of Quick Sips. Now, on today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at this sample of Stellum Rye Whiskey. But unfortunately, I cannot remember who sent me this sample. If I look at the handwriting, it really looks like Keith Schmidt's handwriting. Keith has sent me a lot of samples in the past. If it is somebody else, I'm going to feel really bad, and I apologize. So if you did send me this sample and your name is not Keith Schmidt, please let me know in the comments of this video, and I will be sure to credit you appropriately in the description below. If it was you, Keith, yeah, please let me know, man. I just want to be sure, but I don't have very much of this sample left. Everything that I do have left is actually poured out in the glass right now, so I cannot screw this up. Quick sips are one take. They are unedited. I haven't had to edit any of these yet. I hope this is not the first. So we got to get going here with this Stellum Rye. The last thing I'll say here, this is coming in at 58.12% ABV. And that specific of an ABV could only come from one place, and that is Barrel Craft Spirits, who owns the Stellum Rye and Stellum Bourbon brands. These two iterations of Stellum have really caught fire. A lot of people really like this stuff. And as you can tell, I've had a couple of sips of this sample already of the Stellum Rye. I'm a fan, so let's go ahead and review this now and see what we get on the nose and palate. All right, so you do get a little bit of ethanol right away here. I don't know the age of, what's going into this particular blend here for the Stellum Rye. You do get a little bit of ethanol, and that's okay. It's not overpowering by any means, but right behind that, I'm telling you what, you get a beautiful combination of like honey sweetness with rye spice. Yeah, you get an awesome amount of citrus in here as well. So I would say on the nose here, it's almost like a a very like minty rye whiskey had a baby with a very malty Scotch whiskey, and it helped tame the rye, but it also isn't quite as sweet as a malty Scotch. Now, I don't know if I'm just saying this because earlier this evening I was drinking Scotch and also drinking bourbon together, and kind of like the gears were turning up here, but I really think that this has like a beautiful dark honey sweetness that you get on a lot of different Scotches, combined with some like orange citrus notes that you would expect on a rye whiskey, along with, some of those slightly spearminty characteristics of a rye as well. Yeah, there's an effervescence to this also. Like, I talk about this in some different whiskeys, but it's like an Alka-Seltzer almost. You get this sort of spritziness coming out of the glass here, and it's really nice because it's not all spice. It's that spritziness, that liveliness, that spice, but also, again, with that honey or that malty backbone here. It's not deep and rich caramels. It's not chocolatey. It's none of that kind of thing. It really sits on this, like, lighter end of the spectrum. Yeah, and then in terms of the rye spice, I've already mentioned a little bit of that spearmint quality. There's some white pepper going on here, a little bit of, like, tingly cinnamon, but it's really well balanced. I love the combination of sweet and spice here. Let's go ahead and go to the palate. Yeah, the rye spice, it just kind of dances on the tongue. This is great. That honey character to this, that yeah, I'm telling you, it's this honey malt backbone. I mean, it is really beautiful. I love that. And I don't know exactly how Stellum is achieving this in the blend, but I gotta tell you, that sweetness and that richness and full-bodied quality that you get from those honey or those malty type notes, it really blends well with that rye spice, and I think it is absolutely fantastic. Now, the palate here does get a little more green than the nose. You get some green apple type notes, a little bit more of that spearmint quality. It's not dilly at all. It's not like a, like that really dill forward rye that you get from some MGP ryes. There is most certainly some 95.5 MGP rye blended in here, but it is very well balanced in this blend. So let's go in for a second sip now. Yeah. This is not a complex whiskey, but I've got to say what it does very, very well. And I am absolutely going to be seeking out a bottle of this Stellum Rye because this stuff is fantastic. I don't know that there's much more going on besides what I've already called out. I get a little bit of like a white cake note in here now that kind of goes along with that honey sweetness, and obviously is counteracted with the slight minty quality, the green apple quality, white pepper and cinnamon of the rye. But again, this is really sitting in that upper 50% of the flavor spectrum if I had to kind of quantify it. It is very bright. I should mention again, it is very orange citrus forward as well. But it is just a fantastic rye whiskey. It's well within budget. I believe this is maybe around 50 bucks. I honestly didn't even check the MSRP before I made this video for you. But if it's around that $50 mark or lower, I mean, it's an easy buy. Even maybe at 55 bucks based on what else is out there in the market. This is just fantastically blended whiskey. Now, the finish is not necessarily anything special. It's not a crazy long finish by any means. It's appropriate for the 58.12% ABV that it carries. And it's something that I could sip on all the time. It smells like summer. It's summer right now. This is a really fitting whiskey for the season. You almost get just a hint of like a berry note going on in here as well. I mean, it is really just a great summer sipper. I would be curious to try this over ice. Maybe I'm going to do that when I get a bottle. But this is all that I have left, unfortunately. So that's going to be my last sip here on this episode. I think that's all I've got. Highly recommend this Stellum Rye whiskey. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and turn on all notifications to find out when I'm going live, which is at least once a week, and when I'm dropping new content as well. Now, if you want to support the Drums and Drams channel here, if you like what you see, you want to help support a little bit more and get access to behind-the-scenes content, you can always check out the Drums and Drams Patreon at the link in the description below. There's a tier there for everybody with a lot of different rewards. Otherwise, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for checking out this review, and let me know what you think of this Stellum Rye whiskey if you've had the opportunity to try it. I'm going to close out with my final sip. I hate killing samples. I just want to save every whiskey I have. That is not the reality here. I have to make room for new samples. So cheers, and I'll see you next time here on Drums and Drams.